France, in the year of our Lord, 1066. I knew neither of my father nor my mother. Until 12 years of age, my world had been labour, prayer, and punishment at the convent under the strict rule of Sister Catherine. I would be sent to tend to the chickens, till the gardens, and prayers, doling out of evening punishment with generous measure. Thus was my life, and I knew no different. It all changed when I was brought before Master Beaufort one day, who lorded over a vast estate just outside town. In his household, I was to become an apprentice in the art of the scribe and record keeper, recognizing my aptitude in the matter, and yet again my day was filled with hard labor, only to study ledgers at night instead of the Lord's teachings. The whip would be brought to any servant who forgot his station, but old Master Beaufort was a stern yet fair man, or so things led me to believe. Honest work keeps one's mind away from temptation. Alas, the master's youngest daughter, not burdened by such distractions, perpetually sought to lead me astray for her own forbidden amusement. Knowing of the consequences, I stalwartly refused to get involved in her games. Things, however, came to a head, and the prideful maiden, after being rebutted politely one too many times for her liking, had word brought before her father that I had attempted to force myself upon her in lust. My pleas and oaths in the Lord's name towards my innocence fell on deaf ears, and that very night I was flogged and then set on the road with what meagre worldly possessions I had acquired, to leave and never return. I learned a lesson that day as to the nature of this world. The word of those in power, wicked as they may be in the eyes of the Lord, holds weight over those who may be honest and faithful, yet of lower standing. On the dusty road towards the village, I came upon a crossroads in my mind. To curse the Lord in his perceived indifference, and the world which let such injustice go unpunished, and let my anger guide me to take what was so unfairly denied, or to accept his wisdom in my suffering, and to become a stalwart defender of those who may yet face a similar or grimmer fate. After a brief deliberation, I chose the latter, and set forth on my journey with a new sense of purpose in my heart. Welcome everybody to The Roads We Walk with Bernard, our hero in the making. As you can see, he did have a bit of a troubled past, and if you've seen the setup, then you know what came of that. If you haven't, I'll go through very quickly. He turned out to be a brave and just, yet a stubborn man. He has a bit of a background in accounting, so he is a trained clerk, but his origins are more mysterious. He was dropped off at the convent, so he's most likely definitely out of wedlock, but most likely from an illegitimate coupling. He also, given his religious upbringing, has a bit of a tendency to go and confess very easily. But all the hardship that he has endured has given him some strength of body, which is the thing that he relies on. Now, Bernard is going to have a lofty goal, and that goal is to become a fabled knight, such as the stories are written. And for that, we will need a group of intrepid heroes and followers. So the path ahead stretches on and on, a lovely winding thread twining towards the distant horizon. My camp is quiet, just a few scattered tents and pack animals yawning in the breeze. Strangers and hangers-on rise with the day, preparing for their morning chores with a reluctance. Most are the miscellaneous chaff that flit in and out of a group on the road with each new settlement. Few faces catch my eye, as ones I recognize, at least in more than passing. Before we get any further, if you are new here to the channel, welcome. I tend to focus very heavily on storytelling with these series, so expect this to be in for the long run. I am not going to be making a 20-minute rapid run-through of conquering the world or anything, but we're here to savor and experience this world and adventure that we've been thrust into. So if that is your kind of thing, you are more than welcome to stay around. Now, let's have a look who we have available here. We have a few followers that that are good in stewardship. So we do have Alain, Alain is ambitious, gluttonous, and trusting, so that would work. He's the jolly, the jolly girthy man. He's a thrifty clerk as well, and he is avaricious. He cannot pass by gold, and he's obviously pretty good with stewardship, better than we are. And the other one would be Savary. Savary the kind. He is compassionate, gregarious, and humble. And as that, he would make up a bit for the absolute lack of diplomacy that Bernard is having. But let's keep looking on, because he obviously does dream of becoming a knight, not of becoming a famous accountant. Let's see who we got. We've got Thibault. Thibault. I think it's Thibault. Thibault is an excellent. It's a bit on the older side, but an excellently studious man. He's diligent, humble, and brave, an insightful thinker, and he is a monk. So it's Brother Thibault. And we've got. He can throw a punch if he needs to. We've got Sophie. Sophie the honest. She's a bit cynical, but she is honest, and she is also greedy. But she focuses very much on learning, and obviously at the time women were not really fighting, at least not in France. Alternatively, we could have some people who can throw a punch. So we could get Henri the Timid, who is arbitrary, craven, so he's a bit of a coward, but he is deceitful. He is strong in faith, however. So, and he is good at riding a horse. 14 prowess is not really something to write home to, but he does have some intrigue, which would be a good combination with what we've got. Let's see about Richard. Richard the Brave. He is lazy, brave, but somewhat paranoid, and a rough terrain expert. And he does have a good punch to him, as well as some good martial skills. So I think we can discard the stewardship part. So it's between the two Henri and Richard. Henri has got 14, and Richard would have 20. Both of them being obese, I think. So that's something new. Or the intellectuals. So that would leave us with Thibault, who does have a decent amount of an average intrigue, but is a very smart man. However, yeah, we're not here for the studying. So the monk and Sophie the honest, we're not really here for the studying, but we're more here for the more here to become famous knights. However, these two. Henri the Timid obviously is not somebody who would be impressing a 16-year-old. So I think he's sort of out, which just leaves Richard the Brave. But he's also not. He does have he can throw a punch as well as Bertrand. However, I am thinking that the better complement would be Thibault and Sophie. So Sophie, I'm not hugely impressed by, but I think these two would be the better companions, and Thibault can throw a punch if he needs to. Would be the better companions just from their disposition. So we're going to go with these, and there we are. So here we have our camp followers. We've got Thibault and we've got Sophie the honest. Both of them are low-born, and both of them are French as we are. Obviously, we're gonna need some more people, but we've got some other things to do first. So we don't obviously have a player here because we are 16. We have no kids yet, but we have to choose a lifestyle, and we are obviously we have some experience in stewardship. So that's probably what we're going to be starting out with, because even Bernard has to admit that becoming a famous knight, he's not stupid. Becoming a famous knight isn't as easy, and you will need some money on the road. So working on the money is going to be the first thing that we'll be working on. So we get the bartering, which also works well with our education. So that's it helps with stewardship schemes. So that's stuff that we can do from the onset. However, we do have some complementary things from the other two, and we obviously have in our group we have Sophie, who potentially can find somebody that she can be married to. So Crusader Kings 3, obviously, women are a very valuable currency unless you're playing in an era and culture where they actually have equal rights. But they're a good way of getting people that you need. All right, what else do we need to do? Camp purpose. We're not going to be actually doing that just yet. So for now, we don't really have any money. Our camp is very basic. This is not an awful lot we have here. Camp purpose, we'll be doing that later. And we've got a couple of things. We've got a few knights, obviously. Yes, because we have nobody. we don't really have anybody who would fight. But that'll come later. For now, we are on the road to gather those who are of similar mind, and we've got a few contracts available. But before we do that, let us visit the castle holding, because we are actually starting out in Paris, and this ought to be interesting. We are in the Ile-de-France. So here we are with Sophie. A few places are as majestic as a castle, and Paris is no exception. French troops and banners are visible everywhere in the city. As we pass through the main gates, I spot a handful of guards peeking out from the embrasures above. Sophie looks around with a content face, seemingly enjoying the change of scenery. We are going to go to the tavern and see if we can find somebody else who can join our group, as you do in adventures. First of all, we'll have a seat by the fire, and we'll see what story they're telling. So we've got Frederick here, who's been talking about sacrifices, blood flowing down the torso, and a spring, probably some form of spring of life or something. So let's see what we get out of that. Most likely exotic stewardship, but that can't harm. Nope, we actually got 100 stewardship experience. Nice. So we'll talk about we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's finish up here. Sophie is grinning appreciatively as a peasant finishes a crude joke involving several bodily fluids. I think Sophie the Honest can't really keep her emotions to herself. So we'll see what we can find to join her in holy matrimony. Let's see who's up for recruitment. Obviously, we can't actually afford any of these, but one of them is usually free. Let's see who it is. Approaching the crew of unemployed French, I raise my voice and address them directly. I am looking for some skilled, reliable people to join my camp. Who among you are up for that task? Interested parties introduce themselves as Louise the Patient and Sechok the Humble. As I finish making introductions, a brusque man, and that's the one we get for free, immediately walks up to me. My name is Ancel. For reasons that are my own, I would like to join your camp. Let's see what because we obviously can't afford the other two to join, but Ancel over here. And yeah, that's a bug. I think because the game hasn't, because I haven't unpaused the game. Okay, I'm gonna have to unpause the game for a brief, and then go back here so the actual character stats have loaded in. So I've reloaded this. Unpausing didn't do the trick either, and of course the person who was previously there is now gone. But instead we do have Richard the Brave, who we've seen earlier in the campgrounds. So it looks like Richard the Brave has decided to join us after all. And Richard, he is going to join. He is going to join me. There are some other people who we can't afford yet because we don't. They are asking for a lot of money to join our camp. So instead, we're getting Richard. And then we're going to be heading back, while Sophie is still laughing about bodily fluids. Back to camp. So let's start organizing our camp a little bit, shall we then? We've got a few roles to fill. Currently we've only got 6. There are a few more potential things that unlock once we upgrade the camp, but for now our camp is extremely basic. So let's see if we can actually find somebody who we can employ in the various roles. Most importantly, personal physician, because the Middle Ages were a dark and turbulent time. And while it was nowhere near as dark as people often think these days, things could become a little dicey very quickly when it comes to health. So both of them are average. Thibault and Sophie are average at this, but I think Sophie would do a decent. She can improve over time. We can get her to improve the skills. She could be decent as a personal physician. Let's see what else we've got. She obviously wouldn't make a good caravan master, but Thibault would be a good second. And Richard the Brave obviously can be employed as our bodyguard. So that's excellent already. So we have one bodyguard, and we have Thibault as the second, which is going to improve all our skills by quite a bit, which is nice. And then we can employ Sophie as the caravan, as the personal physician, or we can try to get somebody else. But I really do prefer to have somebody in this role, because it's just really dangerous. We'll be traveling a lot, and without a personal physician, it's just really easy to, well, die. So we shall appoint her and get her to focus on improving her skills, which is going to cost us prestige, but such is life. Caravan master, we're going to have to find somebody else. And obviously we have nobody else yet, and we're not going to employ a stooge just yet. Stooge is sort of the person you will give a good kicking if need be. So we've got ourselves set up. In terms of planning, obviously we do want to become a knight. So the gallant tree here is where we want to go. The stalwart leader, chivalric dominance, and build up our group of knights, and eventually become get either to Knight of the Swan would be sort of the overarching goal, so becoming a knight errant, and for that we have to fulfill a couple of things. We do have to get the level of fame up. So right now we're established, so we have to get that up. We do have to be the Swords for Hire camp purpose, which obviously we're nowhere near, because we have just started. We have no money, we have no upgrades, nothing, and we have to complete a few martial or prowess contracts. So that's something that we need to do. But that's what we'll be working towards. So for now, I'm more interested in the stewardship, especially the golden obligations. Golden obligations and high stakes bartering. These are two ways of making money relatively quickly, because golden obligations allows us to basically ask people to pay us off when we do them a favor. And high stakes bartering allows us to for increased risk, earn money passively while we're traveling. So these two are that's probably where I'm going to go down, we could even go to get what you pay for, but I think high stakes bartering is going to be enough, and then we can switch to martial and go down the gallant tree, because that's the eventual goal that we would like to achieve. That is the dream that we're going after. All right. So what do we have around here? 3 contracts are currently on offer. Count Guéry asks to protect the innocent, and he would pay relatively well to do that, but that might be taking a while. we can escort an emissary, which would pay pretty well as well, from Count Renaud. But we don't yet know where we need to go. But more importantly, Bernal has heard that knights of true virtue are being asked, because one of Count Richard's fairest courtiers has not returned from an incursion into the woods. So, of course, that's not something, even though it pays no money whatsoever, that is not something we can neglect. So we shall rescue a fair subject. It's also not far away. So the forests of Évreux, that's where we are. That's where we're going to be heading. Now we don't have a caravan master. We have no threats on the road, and we will be scouting for talent. It slows us down a little bit, but it gives us the opportunity to potentially find somebody who might join our camp. We are still looking for a second bodyguard and a stooge. So other than that, we're actually pretty well equipped, so we don't have to do that for too long. If we can find somebody, that would be great. The other thing that we can obviously do is we can see if we can find we can find somebody for Sophie to marry, but we'll let that take its natural course. She might be coming up with somebody eventually. All right. It looks like Duke William of Normandy is raising his forces. So the more important that we make our way there. And yeah, I just clicked that away. So let's do that again. And we will be traveling to accept the contract. As we continue through Montfort, my eye catches an elaborately decorated tomb. I'm not going to keep reading these out, by the way, because just for, when they reoccur. But I do like the lore. Amidst the network of common graves, the tomb appears to be cracked open, and just within its mouth I see the glimmer of some unknown treasure. None but my party appear to be around, and surely whomever once owned the contents of this tomb would not cast judgment on me for taking what would go otherwise unused. Obviously, we're not going to be doing that because we're not stealing. We shall not be desecrating the dead. We are a paragon after all. And we're coming across a man while passing through Montfort. He is benevolent and opens a hand as I approach. I am tired of getting kicked around like a dog. No one respects me here. Everyone laughs as soon as Enguerrand is uttered. Fools, fiends, scullions. I get so mad. I must get out of here. My skills could serve you well, he continues. Shall we discuss payment? So we have Enguerrand, who is obviously who we could employ as a stooge. Now the stooge is basically somebody who we make fun of in the camp, and he's not the brightest person out there. He is, however, relatively good at diplomacy, which I think is not something we necessarily have in the camp. Yeah, so that would not be bad. He is generous, calm, and gregarious, so I think he's going to be fitting in just well. Obviously, we can't pay him 75 gold coins because we literally don't have that much. But we can pay him in food. We still have plenty of that. And he shall become our stooge, and he would be grateful. And we have another member of our camp. A tired Count Richard approaches the camp with his men. The horses stop right before my tent as I get up to greet them. That damn woman, I hear the Count mumble. I bid you good morning, Bernal, he says, wiping the sweat off his forehead. It seems that a most beautiful woman has been lost in the woods, and my courtiers will not stop lamenting until I bring her back. So we do have to, it is a scheme, so we do have a maximum chance of 40%, but we do have some potential agent slots that we can fill up. We have some options here. We can rush it. We can a fair man, no, a fair woman, my friend, even better. This would add an outcast, 2 muscles, a thug, and a lookout. This is all just for rushing it up, but our base chance isn't that great to begin with. So we are We are going to probably go with a balanced approach for the beginning until we have things a bit better sorted out. Balanced approach, and we shall be adding. Now, I know that you can automate this, but I'd just like to take a look around who's suited best for what. So Thibaut is going to be the lookout. We've got Richard as the muscle, and yeah, Richard is pretty much the most suited for anything here. And then we've got Enguerrand as the footpad, and we'll get in Sophie pretending to be a thug. Well, that's going to be difficult. She is Sophie the Honest after all. But it's round about the same, really. So I don't know. We'll just let her go on with Richard, Sophie the Honest. She can go on with Richard and be the muscle in everything. All right. So obviously, scheme's taking forever. I will not be hanging around here making you watch all that, but. It's 16.8% per phase, so we're going to be needing about 4 or 5 phases to go through, which is reasonably quick actually at this one. Generally, I will try to avoid the lengthy schemes, but we'll search the woods for the missing fair maiden. None in my camp are intimately familiar with the terrain in Évreux, and such lands are not to be trifled with. It is for this reason that I find myself standing in front of a local guide, bartering for services to be rendered. It's no joke out here, he offers, drawing air in through gritted teeth, a theatrically worried gesture. You'll need either these maps or my services, I can tell you that for free. He's right, but there's something about his demeanor that makes me hesitate. So this is Godfrey, the godless blackguard. He is arbitrary, gregarious, and cynical, but he knows he's a diplomat par excellence. He's also malnourished. I don't have 50. I don't have 50 to pay him. To pay him, so we could pay 5, but there's a we could get well guided, which would be quite nice to have. So I think we don't have much. That's 25% of our gold. Alternatively, we might lose some provisions, but we might also get vague guides, which is going to decrease significantly the traveling danger. So I think we'll just hope we don't get lost. I don't trust this man. Having the detailed maps would be nice, but we just don't have the money for it. So we won't trust this man, and we will see how we're getting on. Now the scheme that we're running, we need two more advantages to actually execute it, but we're almost at max. So could have probably gone for the speed up, but then I don't know if we would have had the potential up there. All right, so we're at 5 advantages, so we can seize the moment, and we have a 73% success chance to successfully execute the scheme and ingratiate ourselves with Count Richard of Évreux. Now, 73% success chance isn't great, but it's 3 and 4. Alternatively, we would have to hang around here for another 5 months in order to get to 10 advantages. So we'll be seizing the moment, and we have failed. The guards found the red-soaked handkerchief patrolling the woods, and has been an emblem that I suppose you'll find familiar. Now I have to deal with agitated courtiers and broken-hearted officers. Do not expect to receive the full payment. Yeah, we have absolutely failed. We've lost 25 prestige, and he has lost 30 opinion of us. And we've gained some stress, and we have failed to rescue the fair subject. Well, this is an important lesson to learn for as we return to Paris with our tails between our legs. This is an important lesson to learn for Bernard, that things things don't always work out, and also that we are desperately short on money. And we should probably stop running after fair maidens and do something to earn a living. So, having returned to Paris, let's have a quick look if there's anything that's any good stories. Talking about Zeus's head, that might give us some diplomacy. Oh, we get 1 diplomacy out of that. Nice. And yeah, obviously people now up for recruitment all want money, so we can't afford that. Which means, back to Campetis, we do need to make some money. All right, we've got 2 options. We can either protect the innocent, which is a prowess scheme, which is going to take forever again, or we're going to take a transport contract. So I think we will probably be going with Count Renaud and see where he wants to go. Let's see. So the delegation from Count Renaud of Clermont saunters through the flaps of my great tent. Yeah, great tent. Greetings, adventurer, speaks an envoy. Many are the roads of this world and treacherous. If you'll work for Clermont, my liege would pay you well for your expertise. Countess Ermengarde of Clermont, I'm a most loyal servant of the Count. It is his words I must carry to Klingenberg, to the hall of Kaiser Heinrich. Guide me, protect me, and entrust my missive does not fall prey to prying eyes. Okay, so that is the wife of Count Renaud. Okay, that's actually that's an honor. So we can either travel there with her, or we can move the whole camp over there, but that will cost provisions, which we are not having an awful lot of. So we'll probably leave the camp where it is, and we'll see if we can come up with a travel plan here. So we do have a fair ways to go. We have to get all the way over to Klingenberg. That is a bit of a distance, and which means we're not going to be scouting for talent, because this is going to slow us down. We do, however, have a bit of dangers in the forest of Saint-Mihiel, and obviously the forest where we are arriving. There's not much we can do about that, but Saint-Mihiel we can probably work around. So let's see if we can customize the route. So we we'll walk around the forest, and then we will add another destination here. There we go. Now we're just avoiding the forest of Saint-Mihiel, because that is a dangerous route. And on the return, we're going to be doing the same thing. Actually, we're going to have to go through a bitch. YouTube, that's not a bad word. It's literally just saying that there. That is the name of a place, all right? I am not swearing. Okay, now we have a custom route. We have avoided the dangers, except the forest near Klingenberg, which we obviously can't avoid. So there we are. All right, let us begin the travels. As we walk down the halls of the manor at Saint-Denis, a local landowner, Hermesinde, turns to me. They say this part of the estate is haunted, my lord. I hesitantly look around. The hall is a bit darker than I would have expected, candles flickering at their posts. When we stop at the old dining hall, Hermesinde turns to me again, this time with a grin. Would you like a tour of the haunted manor? We could. That sounds intriguing. We could just run, but that would cost us a significant amount of prestige, and we are brave. So let's get in there. Who is this? Hermesinde. Okay, she might have some thoughts here. Intriguing indeed. We're walking down a dark and deserted hallway. A few furnishings have come across, are all covered up with sheets, adding to the ghostly atmosphere. Was that a rat? I hurried to catch up to my entourage. Hermesinde turns to face us, squinting as she utters the words, "And through here, my lords and ladies." We might find something interesting. We could stick to the route, but again, we are brave, so let's have a look at that nook and see what's over there. I fumble in the darkness, doing my best to ignore the slight sense of panic that the darkness invokes in me. I hurry through the next doorway, trying to find the group, and suddenly a large dark shape comes swooshing down on top of me. I let out a shriek of surprise. When I come to my senses, I find the group standing in the room I just entered. Hermesinde has trouble breathing through the laughter and points at me. "My lord, did you have a good time?" we could punch her in the face. Or we could spend, unfortunately, we could spend 75 prestige, but we do get the approachable trait. That reminds me, we probably do need to run a personal scheme, actually. So yes, indeed, we had a good time, and yes, you got me good. Let's have a quick look, because it is going to be quite important that my people are having a good opinion of me. And now Enguerrand, our stooge, is not so much. He is grateful, but overall, and I'm gonna have to look where that was. Was that somewhere? There we go. So we have 3 supportive, and we've got a steadfast, because the temperament modifiers are making a difference here. So we're going to need to get Enguerrand on our side, which means that we are going to sway him and see if we can improve his opinion of us a bit. So let's get that going. While we're busy, we can make friends with Enguerrand, and it's all in good. It's all in good favor. There's another Protect the Innocent contract out there, but I think this is all going to take significantly longer than what we're doing right now, and we'll see what we have when we get back to things. But Enguerrand has gained a nickname. He's Enguerrand the Affable. Well, that really that's almost nice. Yes, that could have been worse. So we are making our way into Germany, and an imposing man is standing on the road ahead of us. I am Gerhard of Nancy. I have, is it Gerard? No. Nancy? France? Well, it sounds German. He's Franconian, okay. I have bested dozens of men in combat, and honestly, all those fights were dull. So here I am on this road looking for someone better than me, someone I can learn from. If you can best me in combat, I will become a valuable and loyal servant. And so on this day I demand to meet one of you in a fair fight. Okay. Let's see. He's got 15 prowess. He is sadistic, but he is brave and diligent as well. So yeah, that would be. And what is it? What is it with them? Everyone's obese here. What is it with the Middle Ages these days? Okay, so I can do a prowess challenge against Gerhard, and I can probably win that. Or I get wounded. Or we can send Richard in, but I have the better chance here. And I am brave, so I'm going to be doing that. And we'll see how that goes. And if we can beat Gerhard of Nancy in a fight. And we do win the fight. Gerhard has joined our camps. And he has now gained the wounded trait, unfortunately. But, or not. No, he's just still obese. But we have probably ourselves a new bodyguard. He does not have the greatest opinion of us, however, because he is Franconian rather than what we are, which is French. So that is a bit of an opportunity, however, to learn something. We'll throw him out if he becomes difficult, but for now, that'll do the trick. Okay. And we can improve. We can learn from each other. We are going to be a multicultural group anyway. Another martial contest. As we pass through the market in Speyer, we hear a loud yell and stumble into an ongoing tussle between 2 men tightly observed by a group of people. The crowd cheers profusely as one of them is swept off his feet, face planted solemnly in the dirt, and thus concluding the match. "Who's next?" the man yells into the crowd, and his eyes land on our group. At my side, Richard snorts in response to the challenge. So that is Gunzelin von Arnstein. He's a bit of a giant, literally. Cynical, generous, but wrathful. No, I'm not so sure about this guy. We can either send Richard in, which would give us 37 gold. That's massive. I could do it myself, and I actually have the better chance than Richard. We do get a bit of stress out of that, but I think, Richard, step aside. I shall be taking on the giant. And we gained 50 gold and 150 prowess out of that. Well, that was worth it. Do we have enough to upgrade? Yes, we do. So we've got a few upgrade slots here before we conclude our journey for today. We've got a few upgrade slots here. Generally, I like starting out with the barber's tent because it does give a bit of income. It does give it a bit of disease resistance, and there are other things that we're going to be doing. We don't really have any. We're not really a military camp yet, and the barber's tent is sort of the first one that I find quite useful. So we're going to be spending 60 of our newly acquired gold to get ourselves a barber's tent, and then we shall continue our march. We are almost at Klingenberg, so in late spring. We have visited the capital of the Holy Roman Empire. We've gained 450 diplomatic lifestyle experience. And I am brought before Kaiser Heinrich himself. You have come at my acquaintance Count Renault's behest. On what business? The Countess steps forward. Worthy Kaiser, I speak for Count Renault of Clermont, but the message I bear is fit for your ears alone. We shall speak in my chambers. Master Bernard, your service is noted. You may remain as a guest in my castle. Yeah, this was an exceptional success because the Countess is safe. And I would say even more so a diplomatic success, because we managed to pull off a contract like that with basically having no backing. So somebody's been talking big about us, promoting us to way more renown than we initially had. But the Count is pleased. We get a weak hook because we excelled on the contract. The Countess leaves the entourage and we'll be heading back to our camp. All right, so we've got 92 monthly income. I don't think we can. Can we construct? No, we can't construct another one because we are already constructing. So we'll keep the money. And now we have Count Renault. Now we could ask him for gold, but he doesn't have enough gold to give us any. That, however, would make him angry. What we can do, and he wouldn't give us an awful lot, but what we can do is once we get the stewardship perk, the golden obligations, we can demand a payment for that favor that we paid. So that's a good one. We also did get some diplomacy experience, but not enough to get up there. And the rest is not yet obviously doing anything. All right. So we'll be returning to our camp. And then I would say that was a good first adventure, and we've got some work to do. We do have, obviously, we have picked up the German Gerhard, who's my bodyguard and knight, who is obese. So is Richard. I thought Thibault was obese as well. No, it was just those two. Okay. But yeah, cultural acceptance inside the camp is going to be a big issue. But we will see how this all goes, and obviously we do need to work on improving our understanding between all of these. So all of that to come in the next episode, when we will continue on our journey and probably pick up a few more contracts after we've made our way back to Paris.